This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I was going to say that.
Hello, Jesus loves pizza.
I love that it's like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, okay. Oh, I'm going to say it on the show. I don't care. It's okay. We're here to have fun. Right, Pastor Juan? Right?
Yes. Yeah,
we can have fun, right?
For sure.
Yeah. We're not. Yeah, it's fun. Okay. Like all that. Right. Do I need to move in a little bit or?
No, you're good. I just wanted
okay.
scooch a little more.
But my voice is catching. Okay.
Exactly.
It is. Okay. I know it always does.
Is catching pretty good too.
Okay.
Okay, good.
And she's loud. I like it.
Voices.
I know. I know it freaks me out because it's over here.
Yeah.
I know, but I know it catches. Okay.
Yeah.
It's because when I run into you guys at the pizza, I be drunk. I'm not gonna lie. But I haven't drank in 2 months because I'm training for my CrossFit comp. That I booked myself for.
Okay.
But next weekend it's on.
But when you catch me after.
We're good? Okay, thank you, Josh. I appreciate you.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. You guys know that every so often the show needs a little bit of Jesus, right? And so I like to reach out to the people from the church. No, it does. It needs a little bit of Jesus, right? It can't be inappropriate all the time. And of course, I'm so excited to get into it with my next guest. But before we continue, I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you guys so much for all the love and support going on 5 years of the podcast. And you guys still continue to treat me as if I'm brand new and just show me the most unconditional love. And I'm truly, truly grateful for it. So thank you all so much. Now, of course, I will have to use this opportunity to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, and thank Rogue Media Network. My boy Josh is over here producing this episode of The Public Affair, and I want to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. Before we get started, okay?
Let's go.
Yes, before we get started. Okay, you guys are gonna like this part. This episode is brought to us by David Santabanez with Alinea Real Estate. He is still the #1 sales agent in his offices, right? He's gonna help you buy a home or sell your property. Make sure you guys are following him on Facebook at David with Alinea. Call the number on the screen for all your real estate needs. If you guys don't know how to buy a house, he's gonna walk you through the process step by step because he's truly the GOAT. David, thank you so much for all you do for me and the show, and congratulations on everything that you're achieving. Thank you. Of course, the Armstrong's Bayou Cafe with Arnica Armstrong, serving the most authentic Creole cuisine. That's right, with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. Now, girl, I haven't tried the crab cake pot pie that you had. Okay, she promised me it, and I need to come pull it up because she put it on social media and it looked really, really good. My favorite is absolutely any pasta that you can get. I love creating my own pasta. If you guys are seafood potato people, she has those as well, and her fried shrimp is fried to perfection. You guys can also ask about catering services as well. Check them out, Union Hall, Union Grove, and book now with their food truck, Armstrong's Bayou Cafe. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Blue Star RV Services, my boy Manny Guerrero. Listen, he's a mobile RV tech who can fix all RVs. I'm talking about travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and so much more. He deals with the warranty company, so you guys don't have to, and you only pay him a small service fee, and him and his team, who are professional and reliable, are going to make sure that your rig is out there standing tall. Follow on Facebook, call the number on the screen, Blue Star RV Services. Thank you so much. Of course, to Jeff Davis, the Texas car plug at University Mazda Kia, who I just talked to today. Phenomenal person. Love that guy so much. Hit him up to get the best deal on a brand new or pre-owned vehicle at University Mazda Kia. Listen, if your credit's not crediting, like mine, if your credit is good, no matter what the finances look like, Jeff is going to work tirelessly to make sure that you're getting the best deal on any vehicle on the lot at University Mazda Kia. He's truly the best. Jeff, thank you so much for all you do for me in the show. And of course, I can't go on without thanking Lucas Pizzeria with Jesse and Tanya Sotomayor, Waco, and Belmead's new brunch spot. That's right, their family-friendly restaurant in Belmead, offering delicious brunch now, you guys, from breakfast pizza to French toast to bottomless mimosas, and of course, New York-style pizza. Hello. Their brunch is from Thursday to Monday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you can catch dinner on Friday and Saturdays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Visit lucaspizzawaco.com. Head to 3125 Belmead Drive to see what all my hype is about. Lucas Pizzeria, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. I'm truly grateful. Okay, you guys, listen. I am super excited to have this next guest onto the show. They are rocking purple. Well, she is rocking purple because Dad walked in like he was security. I was scared. Dad walked in when he was like, no, I'm gonna go with you to The Public Affair. You can go to other shows, right? But not no. We're gonna make sure his house. No. Thank you for coming. Listen, okay, I didn't even do a proper introduction. Hello, I'm just excited.
No,
I'm really excited because you know what? I had this feeling like you've got to invite this girl on the podcast. And you said yes, and I was so happy that you said yes, you guys. She is a youth minister, and she's in education, and she also does Christian, well, I don't know if we should label it Christian rap and songs.
Yes, sir.
Songstress, if you will. My girl, Stella Karion, is here.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, I'm so excited. Do you feel like I should have invited you a long time ago? Because maybe I feel like I should have.
No.
I was like, it's been 5 years. I was like, oh, God, I hope she doesn't think I'm like, oh. No, listen, you've been really doing your thing in the community.
I have.
You have. And you know, I really want to kind of get like, and you're accompanied by your dad, Pastor Juan.
Yeah,
Hello.
shout out to Pastor Juan.
Yes, he is his house.
Yeah.
Okay, and he said I can make jokes. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, because in his house they don't judge.
That's right.
They don't.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they don't judge. He said I didn't go to his house. I went to his house. Okay, so he said I can go to his house, not his house. Okay. No, listen, I'm so excited that you're here. You know, we have a lot of mutual friends. Ray
Yes.
Castillo was on the show with his beautiful
Shout out to
family.
Ray.
Yes, his whole family was on here. Alexandria Cervantes was on this show too, who I
Yes.
love. Such a sweet woman. And you know, I didn't know that you and Ashley were friends too. Ashley Desma?
Yes.
Yes.
So her daughter was in my class at school.
Oh,
And
okay.
I love her so much. When we were in pre-K, because I was working with pre-K at the
Yeah.
time. And now that she's in first grade, I'm working with her again.
Oh, okay.
And so now they attend our church. And
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
She is such a phenomenal woman.
Oh,
Yeah,
love her.
I give
Boss
hats
woman.
off
Shout
to
out
her.
to Ashley.
She was on the show twice.
Really?
She was on the show twice. Yeah, the first time she had a lot of hateful
Oh,
comments, but
okay.
we just deflected those in the name of Jesus. And then
Okay, for real,
yeah,
for
and then the
real.
second, she's just got such a good head on her shoulders, and I've always
Yes.
had such a high level of respect for her.
Yes.
So big shout out to all of them. You know, I want to jump right into it. Right,
Let's
I
go.
was doing my little homework on you, and I saw on social media that you guys just put on like a pep rally for the STAR test.
Yes.
Now the views were crazy on YouTube. Okay, and
No, for real.
so I guess, you know, with that being said, that was something you helped in orchestrating or orchestrated. Should I
Yes.
give you your flowers? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, and you know his house was very involved with it as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
what inspired you to do that? Because those state tests for the kids, and I'm sure any parent watching can relate, they're very very stressful
Yes,
on the kids. So
yes.
so what inspired you to put on such a pep rally, and how do you think it benefited?
So I started working at Kendrick Elementary 5 years ago. And when I first went, the cat got out of the bag quick. They were like, Miss Carrion's a rapper and a singer.
Oh, okay.
And so they were like, this tradition was actually already like years, like before I even got there.
Right.
It was already going in process. And so when I came on the scene, they were like, hey, you're a rapper, you're a singer.
Yeah.
How about you help us with this? And I'm like,
Sure.
oh, okay.
I
So
guess.
yeah, so the first year a teacher kind of like walked me through it, and she was like, we kind of just like recorded on our phone.
Yeah.
And I shoot a music video with our iPad. And I was like, well, like we know people, like, you know, who have
yeah.
a studio.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I could take it to the studio.
So we have professional equipment.
Well, I'm just saying,
No,
you know.
you don't have to be all. You could be all modest if you want to, okay? But she said the minute she heard iPad, she was like, "Excuse me."
So the first year,
Yeah.
the first year I took it to the studio, and the teacher at the time who was doing it for years did like a video on the iPad. And she even told me, I didn't even know this, but she
Yeah.
said a couple years ago that it was only teachers
Okay.
that could do it, that could be in the video
Oh,
until they
I
got
see.
approved for the kids.
Sure.
So then like the kids started getting in it, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. So by year 2, when we did it again, I was like, how about I call Giovanni the King? Shout out to Gio
Big shout out to him.
in Belmead.
Yeah. He was on this show too, by the way.
Yes, I love Gio.
That was a
And I
great
was like,
episode.
he does all of our music videos for the
Okay.
church.
Yeah,
We
good
love
deal.
Gio. We've
Yeah.
been partnering with him for years.
Awesome. That's
And
so
so I was
great.
like, hey, like I'm doing this music video at the school, like would you come and do this with us? And I talked to my bosses, my principals, and they're like, oh yes, like let's do
That's
it.
so great.
We
Yeah.
threw all the kids on the playground, and we did a remix of God's Plan, but we called
Okay.
it Star Test.
Yes.
And when I tell you, it was crazy. So since then, every year, I started picking kids and started adding them on the song.
Yeah, sure.
And so
They
it's
got their little features.
yeah, for real. And
That's
it's
so
turned
awesome.
into a tradition.
I
at
think that
Kendrick.
is so great, and you know, big shout out to Kendrick Elementary. That was actually
Big shout out.
That was technically my second career day when I was on Power 108. Yes, it was right before
Wow,
I got
that's awesome.
right before I got the boot. That was my second career day.
That's
Yeah, the
awesome.
kids are so great, and the faculty there is so
yes.
good. So you're an educator there.
Yes, sir.
Then correct. So I'm pretty sure that's really daunting. I want to talk about the state of we're going to get a little bit real later on in the podcast because
Go
we
ahead.
have to talk about the youth, right?
Oh,
The
yes.
youth is going through a lot in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
And, in our time right now, it's a little bit different. I'm a little bit older than you. I think I'm your dad's age, but we're 21, and so I think
Right.
I think that the youth is in trouble. In these days of age. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'll put it out there. I don't have kids, but I'm a very good observer on what's going on. But beforehand, what was life for you, like growing up? Was it always in the church, or?
Yes. So unlike a lot of other people's stories, I loved being raised in church.
Wow. Okay.
I was raised in church since I was a youngster. when I was really young in elementary school. So Alta Vista actually used to be a performing arts school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was Montessori.
Yeah.
And so my parents enrolled me there. So for years, I was like, they taught me how to be on stage, how to be a singer, a dancer, how to work a crowd.
Sure.
I've been doing that for years.
Oh, okay.
And so then when I went to church, I just started implementing everything I learned there, and I did it for God.
Yeah.
And so when I was growing up, my parents were pastors, assistant pastors at Family Worship Center in North Waco. Shout out to Family Worship Center. And they were just doing ministry. They were doing ministry. My dad at the time was a touring Christian hip hop recording artist as well. And I'm talking about he's going to like Argentina.
Oh wow. Not the tour
Peru.
life.
Yeah, like all kinds of stuff. So
Coming up on his house part 2.
for real.
Yeah.
So like it's funny that you even mentioned career day because he did career days too. And so
really?
all of my friends in school, they were always like, oh my gosh, so like they're rapping with them and stuff. And I'm
Yeah,
just
for sure.
it's funny. But I loved being raised in church. I know that's not everybody's story.
Right. No. It's like not. I don't want to say refreshing. That's such a horrible way to put it. But I think the cliche is that you would have went through something, and then you end up finding God. It sounds like Christ and God was the head of household all the time.
And I'm thankful that I had parents who were the same on and off the platform, in church and at home.
Oh, I see.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
okay.
I never grew a resentment of like, we got to go to church again, or
Right.
the church did this. Like, of course it wasn't perfect, and of course we're working with people.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
Yeah, for sure.
we're not perfect. And so I just love that they always had a positive outlook on church,
Right.
and they were excited, and that made us want to be excited and want to
Absolutely.
be in it too. So
You guys have never judged me. We ran into each other in passing quite a few times, like
Yes.
at the pizza and stuff like that. We were
Yeah.
talking about it off camera. The reason why I never sat down and had a conversation with you girls because I used to be lit. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you're good,
I
you're
used to
good.
be about 10 beers in, and I don't want to be in your dad's face with my alky breath.
No, no.
I'm talking about. Hey.
I love it though. I love it that like when we
Yeah.
do see each other, we're like, hey, all right.
Because at first, I'm not gonna lie, girl. At first, I remember you said hi to me, and I was like, I know I should know her, right? No, I did, and I hate. I'm gonna tell you something. I hate that about myself because I
Yes.
never want to be like, of course they know her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I feel like okay, I know. I feel like I should know her. Oh, we're friends on social media. Okay. Oh no, she does the church. Okay, perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then I knew a
yeah.
lot of people that were at the table. Most of you guys are nice to me, and so no, I will say, you guys are great. We're doing good. I told you we're gonna behave. I said Coach Juan, Pastor Juan. Okay.
Pastor Juan's in the building.
So life for you sounded really good growing
Yes.
up for the most part, and so music was always your thing.
Always, yeah.
Okay, got you. So when you mentioned that the elementary school used to be a performing arts school, right? So is that kind of like how you learned how to write music and stuff like that as well?
Yes,
Or?
for
Okay.
sure. That's how they taught me. So at the end of the school year, they would always throw these massive end of the year performances.
Right.
And so every single class, it was at the Hippodrome. Before the Hippodrome is like nicely redone. We talking about like
Yeah.
2005, 2006 Hippodrome.
Where there was no upstairs.
Like walking, you're like, hey, hold on to something. This
Right,
mug
right.
might cave in. But they would put all of us in there, and that's when they would give me opportunities
Yeah.
to do solos and
Oh,
be
cool.
creative and
Okay.
do different stuff like that. And so I really do give my flowers to Waco ISD, and I love
Sure.
that I'm even in the position to like do the star videos now for my kids, because I feel like it's just a complete circle.
That's
you know,
so
like
great.
someone gave me an opportunity,
Right.
and now I get to give another student,
Sure.
someone else, an opportunity.
I wonder, and I hope this isn't a bland question, but did you have a hard time fitting in with other kids? Because I think maybe I'm just looking at it more in the lens of like what's going on in today's world. But I think a lot of people when they were growing up and they're about the church and stuff like that, they're kind of almost looked at as like, oh, you're weird. You know what I mean? Because a lot of kids are just bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they are,
Yeah.
and so I'll tell you, I didn't grow up in church at all. And so I wonder if it was different for you. In terms of fitting in.
I feel like I'm thankful to my parents. Like they kept us, because I know a lot of, again, I'm not trying to like shade anybody,
No.
but some
You can leave the shade to
PKs, like some pastor kids are some pastors' kids are like homeschooled and like in this cookie cutter.
Yes.
We was in South Waco, you know, like you know, like we went to the sporting events. We were in the community, and they did a great job. Shout out to you, Dad. I love you. I don't want to cry, but
no,
doing a great job of like keeping us in our community, not taking us out, not being, because I know people too who are like, I want to like almost shelter too much.
Exactly.
I don't want to, and I agree that like, you know, there's some things you don't want your kids to see, but they never, I want to say even like took us out the culture.
Right.
You know, they kept us involved, and so they didn't put us in private schools.
Right.
We were getting out the mud like everybody else in Waco ISD.
I think it's important too, and it's like you said, there's two sides to it, right? Because like, you know, there's the real world out there, right? And we can shelter all we want, and you know, oh well, you know, I don't want my kids to be exposed to like kids in public school and stuff like that, because you know, everybody just grows up in different circumstances. You know what I mean? And I think I want to say too, since you mentioned all that, I've never attended his house, like a sermon or anything like that. But I will say, when I'm looking at the social media, because I do follow the social media, and I know a lot of people that went there, you guys seem to have a community there that I feel like, don't hate me. You know, they for the most part, they didn't fit the traditional church standard, because there's a politic in church as well. Like, let's call it for what it is. Yeah. And I feel like the people that go to your church, from what I'm seeing, just do the best they can to reach God the way they feel like they know how. You know, just regular though. You know what I mean? Because we'll keep it 100. Like, I've met church people, they weren't very nice to me.
Yeah, that's real.
You know, they were never at his house. I will tell you that. Okay, but I'm also not going to name the church on the show, because then they're going to come after me in the name of Jesus.
Right. So, in the name of
Jesus. What they say is the name of Jesus.
Right.
Okay? But do you dislike when you feel like some churches may not welcome maybe like even some of the people in your congregation just because of the way that they look? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've just come to learn that there's so many of us in Waco, you know, like in our city, let's just start here, who are different, you know, and I have come to terms, and I understand that his house isn't for everybody. It can be for everybody. Absolutely, I believe it is for everybody. But some people, it's just harder for them. And hey, we get it. Like, we've met people, because we're a hip hop church. We've met people who go to a cowboy church, go to a rock church, and they're praising the Lord like, you know, like head banging. And to me, instead of bashing the diversity, I celebrate it and I love it, because I know people who are thriving at a cowboy church. I won't be there, but I love it that like God loves us so much that he even puts like these pockets in our life where we can come to him and grow to know him in our culture, in our lane. I agree, you know, it's not like change everything about you and come and then you can come and be me. It's like, no, I want you with your boots and your cowboy hat too. I want you with your J's and your snapback too, your tattoos. I want all of it. And it's just, I think it's beautiful.
I agree. And it's supposed to be a place where people do feel comfortable, you know, to worship, because some people really work hard to change their life around. You know what I mean? And it looks like, from what I'm just looking, not to just judge y'all or put y'all in a bubble, but it looks like, and I keep looking over there because her dad's over there. Okay, but it just looks like it's a congregation full of people that may have made some wrong choices in the past. You know what I mean? And now we're just really just trying to make an effort. Are they all perfect? No. But they're, you know, trying to make an effort to change that, to change the narrative of their life. You know what I mean? And I feel like, from what I see, his house provides that for those people. And there should be a space. Do you know what I mean? For them. Like, I wouldn't want to go to a gay church. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how that would be. Like, you know what I mean? Like the music, right? Can you imagine the congregation be like?
Oh, stop! I can't.
Because I know there's gay churches, right? And I always wondered what it would be like. Like, do y'all skip that one part? Like, I'm just like,
I love it. I love
it. Yeah. So his house or church, I should say, has always been in your life. Was his house always a thing as well?
So his house started in 2015.
Oh, okay.
And that was my sophomore year at University High School. And I remember, it's funny because I was thinking about this before I came over here. I loved it because I was thinking, I was like, you know, for a lot of people, again, like pastor's kids, I'm a pastor's kid, so that's kind of like the lens I have.
Sure.
I've heard so many stories and I met so many pastors' kids that are on this walk. And I know that when God called my parents to start his house in 2015, he was calling me too.
Oh, wow.
You know,
That's
and
deep.
yeah, and I took it and I ran with it, and I was like, let's do this, because I know that there's so many people that can relate to my parents. My parents are not perfect. That's a whole interview within
Yeah.
itself.
Pastor Juan, can we have you on for a future interview? Yes?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. That's why I
You
didn't
heard
have
it
him on
here
camera.
first,
Because,
folks.
yeah, it would have been a 3-hour. We'll have to have him on.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we have to have
he
him on.
comes
Yeah.
from that street life.
Sure,
He lived in brokenness. He dealt with fatherlessness. And I just thank God that because of his obedience to turn away from everything he's known and follow Christ, I don't have to experience that.
Wow.
I was raised in a 2-parent home. You know, yes, like I was raised with my siblings. And like I said, it wasn't perfect, but God isn't a second thought for me. It is, he's been there, he's always been there, and he's going to get us through every single time.
I love it. Oh, God, that did something to me.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it on my way over here. I was like,
Y'all are doing your homework.
you're calling me too long.
And you know, the God called you to the public fair. Okay,
Come on now, we out here.
Hello. No, you know what? And just real quick before we go to break, I love that y'all's color scheme is purple. I think that's fantastic. No,
Thanks.
I
We're in
do.
the
That's
South, you know?
yeah, but you know,
Come
the
on.
South really likes me. They do.
We
You know,
do.
I'm from
No,
New
I'm gonna
York.
say we do.
Yeah, they do.
We do.
But when I go to the South, I feel like I'm at home, even though I'm not from there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
The North
a lot
likes
of
me too.
people say that.
They do. No,
A
they do.
lot of
I'm not
people say
kidding you.
that.
I went to Alley's driving one time. They all knew who I was. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I have friends like from the North. I have friends who were raised in the North, and they're like, no, we love the South. We're not going back.
But
All right, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I love all the sides of the compass, right?
Yes.
Even though I live on the west side of the compass. However, I will say the South. You know, if I wanted to buy a house, I think I would buy a house in South Waco.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the reason why, because this is supposed to be an inspirational episode, so we'll leave it at that.
Right.
Well, for the imagination. Okay. Listen, you guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, you know, I kind of want to get a little bit more. I don't want to say dark, a little bit more real in terms of what's going on in today's
Yes.
society and in the community, and what your
Yes.
aspect or what your thoughts about it are. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we have more of my very special guest, straight out of his house, not his house, his house. Cela Karion is on the
Yes.
public affair. Thank you so much. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Public Affair. My very special guest, Cela Karion. Now, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Banda's Hauling Service with Julian and Ana Banda. That's right. They rent dump trailers. You fill it up. They haul it away. So if you guys are doing that spring cleaning at the church, right? All them old dusty books that you guys are not reading anymore. No, you can call them and they'll come haul it all away for you guys.
Yeah.
And if you guys need a roll-off dumpster service as well, they're going to do that. If the church van breaks down, they can come pick it up. They can tow it for you. Banda's Hauling Service is absolutely the best. 100% the best.
Let's do it.
They're the only people I call. They're the most reliable no matter where you are, no matter what time they're going to come and get you. Hello. Julian and Anabanda, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Chavito's Kitchen with my boy Al Gutierrez and Adriana Gutierrez serving the best in Latin cuisine. Listen, you guys know that I am Boricua. I grew up on arroz con gandules. I grew up on plátano maduro. I grew up on adobo grilled chicken, and they got all that for me. Hello. And of course, they have other dishes inspired by the likes of Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, and so much more. You guys can follow their social media for daily lunch specials. You can check them out at Union Grove, and if you need them to cater your next event, they do that as well. And if you want to rent them out for their food truck too, Chefito's Kitchen has got it going on. They are the best in Latin cuisine here in Central Texas, and it's absolutely giving. Al, Adriana, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair, and of course to Sid Rodriguez at Elite Barbershop and Hewitt Drive, making sure I look all snackish for this episode of The Public Affair. Call the number on the screen to book or download the Squire app, or just walk in. Hello. Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, Isai Reyes, Sam Ceballos, and Kayla Chapa are making you like a snacks I have for more than, I think this is 241 or 240. I cannot remember, but Elite Barbershop has been it since the beginning. 135 North Hewitt Drive, Suite 121. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, an honorable mention and huge shout out to Soko Soccer Academy. They're from the South. Dominic Gutierrez and Adriana Gutierrez. They offer team, small group, and individual skills training. They also have elite skills training to make your kids superb star athletes, both individual and group skills training. And they're like one of the most ideal child care services here in Central Texas. They keep your kids social, active, and out of trouble. I love Soko Soccer Academy, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Soko Soccer teams, the youth teams, coached by my bro, Coach Morrow, Coach Megan, Coach Jeff. These kids are under phenomenal direction with you guys, and I am so grateful to be a part of anything that you guys ever need for the Soko Soccer teams, and of course, to Soko Soccer Academy. Call the number on the screen for more information and get your kids enrolled now. Soko, thank you so much for all the love and support that you give The Public Affair. All right, guys. We are back with my very special guest, Cela Karion is here, and Pastor Juan said that this episode is funny. He has not thrown water at me just yet. He has not told me, okay, cut. You know, he's just back there laughing, so that means I'm doing a good job. Hello.
Yes,
Do you think his house has a hard time with outreach in the community?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely
good.
not. We are very active in our community. We're actually kind of a little sad right now because I don't know if you know, but Kendrick, we're right next door to Kendrick Elementary.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
and
okay.
so right now our building is getting, well, not building. They built a brand new one from the ground up. So
Oh.
we're relocated over here, actually, by the river at Indian Springs. And so we cannot wait because in August, the brand new building is popping off and all of our kids are about to come back.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So it's been a little quieter in our community because a lot of our kids aren't there like during the day. But no, we're constantly doing outreaches in our community, especially right there at Kendrick Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his house is getting a rebrand, is what you're saying. They're getting an upgrade.
It's just, yeah.
Yes.
Our whole community.
Oh, okay.
Like, honestly,
yeah,
you know,
I see
like,
what you're saying.
and
Okay,
then even our church just went to 2 services because we exploded.
wow.
We had
Okay.
we had a 10 a.m. service,
Yes.
and it was so packed. Our
Wow.
kids were packed.
Yeah.
Everything was packed. Like, my mom, oh my gosh, shout out to my mother. I love her. She had to give up her, I mean, we didn't make her. She gave up her office so we can make another kids class.
Oh,
like, we
wow.
had kids on kids on kids. So we're like, y'all, we're going to have to second service
Sure,
this thing.
sure.
And we did. And now those are starting to fill up. Those 2 services are starting to fill up,
Yeah.
and our kids are coming back. So I know, like, our whole community, it's just gonna be a
That
big
sounds
family
really
reunion.
big. Heck yeah, that's great. I wonder, what do you think you guys do different? You know, because you mentioned the outreach is good, which I'm really happy to hear that. But what do you guys think that you do different that does kind of create a magnet or a pull for the community and for the kids to come? To have such a big congregation that you got to fill up 3
Yeah,
rooms. You know?
I think it is honestly the people, and it's authentic.
Yeah.
So a lot of we are like at his house. There's a lot of rappers. There's a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, and we don't fake the funk. I
Okay.
guess you could say. You know,
Yeah.
like the people who are there, they live that street life.
Right.
Like I was raised in hip hop. Like I said, my dad was a rapper. My brother DJ 88. Shout out to DJ 88.
I met him before too.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
rapping a little
Very nice
bit
guy.
when we were growing up. He was rapping a little bit with my dad.
Oh, cool.
My younger brother at the time was also breakdancing with
Oh, okay.
Capital G. Yeah.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's my god brother.
He was on the show too.
Yes. So
was on the show too.
yeah, so
Yes.
they were breakdancing, they were graffitiing. So
Yes.
I've been raised in hip hop my whole
Okay,
life.
yeah.
But I've never pretended to be from that street life.
I got
you know,
you,
and
yeah.
I feel like the people who are at his house, I feel like they have the place to speak because they live that life.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's what people are drawn to. It's like I think people
It's more relatable.
see
Yeah.
the people in our
It's more
church and they're
relatable.
like, man, like I either was raised in that area or I was raised in it with you and I've seen what God can do in your life, and so I know he can do it for me.
I got you.
Like there's people at our church who like they legit like I came because I saw so and so here.
Oh, okay.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's just like if God could do it in their life, he gotta do it
Yeah,
in mine. And so
yeah.
I really think it's just us being authentic and being who
Sure,
we are,
sure.
and people seeing like, dang, okay, like these are the knuckleheads I was running around with
Yeah,
growing
sure,
up,
yeah.
and now God has completely changed their life. And
I wonder if sometimes it can cause like conflict, right? Because if it is those people that were all from that street life or whatever, and then eventually they end up in the same space,
Yeah.
or do they all know that church is not the same place?
No,
Okay,
we've
yeah.
had stories of people reconciling
Oh,
their
wow,
differences
okay.
and being like, hey, I'm sorry for what happened in the past.
Oh.
I mean, I'm talking about like this would happen
cool.
during service. We've had
Sure,
one
sure.
happen in the kitchen where it's just like, hey,
Not the kitchen.
yeah, no,
Okay.
like that's
yeah,
how.
let's get the food first.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because we were hungry and we had to sit through 2 sermons for this.
Okay, no, for real. But it's
Yeah.
really like, hey, like that was the past. I
Wow.
apologize, and we're moving forward. And now they
Fantastic.
worship together. And
Yeah.
some people probably from his house are like, what exactly? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know.
Well, some of y'all, we need to meet at his house. Maybe in the kitchen,
Maybe
in the bathroom. Okay, we have a lot to talk about. Some of us. No, okay. Let's talk about the community.
Yes.
And this is gonna be a little bit touchy, right? But I think it's so important to talk about because you mentioned just a little bit ago that you guys have a huge outreach, especially when it comes to the youth, right? And so I feel like the youth is in trouble. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I think that the way children are being raised these days, I think it's just a little bit different. I'm 33, Pastor Juan, and I know that when I was being raised, it was just different than what I see how children are being raised today. Kids are getting in a lot more trouble.
Yeah.
Bad things are happening to children. What do you think is contributing to that?
I think their access to the world. They have major access. I mean, anything they want, they can get right now on their phone. All the way down to food.
Right.
Food, games, sex, drugs, alcohol, pleasure, like anything you desire, I could pull out right now and get it delivered to me on my phone.
Absolutely.
I didn't have that growing up.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm not too, I'm 26. I was thinking, I was like, how old am I? I'm 26, but I didn't, like, for me at least, I didn't get a phone until I was probably like halfway through high school, but now I work at the elementary school and kids got phones in 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah.
Life was already life-ing at 4th and 5th grade. Adding a phone to that?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Cyberbullying is at an all-time high.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep,
so
it's
many
crazy.
people can talk mess behind that phone. And so I really think us as the church, we have this nonprofit organization called Hip Hop Hope.
Okay.
Hip Hop Hope Waco. And what we do is we take everything that we do in the church, we take it out to our community.
Sure.
And so we'll serve dinner out there. We'll do the live concerts out there. And really just get our hands and feet involved. We do the pep rallies.
Yeah.
We have students involved in FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the schools. And so we are, we try our best because we know that it's really dark out there.
Absolutely. And I look at children, and I'm going to get into a situation, and I'm going to speak about it because I found out it exists in my immediate family, which I was not thrilled about. Which, when you guys go to his house on Sunday, please pray for these people.
Yes.
Because they're demented from what I'm about to say. But, I feel like kids these days have a lack of motivation to be something in life, right? In a way, it has to start at home, and it has to start with the adult.
Right.
Okay. And so I actually, in my immediate family, I should say, I ran into somebody who I had not seen in a long time, 12 years old, tell me that he's disabled because his mom says he's disabled. But when I'm looking at him, I'm like, well, what's wrong? Like, I understand kids have like ADHD, ADD. You work in education, right?
Yes.
And but I know of like really close friends of mine whose kids have ADHD, ADD, who are playing sports, who are active, who are social, who are. You did it. Would you do it again? Yeah.
I'm about to say, I think I know where he's going with
That's what
this.
it's all about, And so I feel like, do you think that? Anyway, what I'm going to say is that the child in my immediate family, and sorry, parents, but I feel was being coached by his mother to say that for, money.
Yeah.
And so do you think that is a bigger problem in today's world? And I know you're in education, so I know you have to like dip your toes around it, you know what I mean? But I would like to get your perspective on that.
No, I think we do see that a lot. We do see that a lot. And I feel like it comes from poverty mentality.
Absolutely.
A lot of even a lot of fatherlessness in our schools. I mean, I love I love the brotherhood at our church because there's some of them where I even reach out to them and I give them names.
Sure.
Of like, hey, please pray for this kid in my class. Please pray for so and so because they don't have a father figure.
Right.
And they don't even know that there's men of God in their city who are praying for them, And so I think, I think that comes out of really poverty.
Sure.
Poverty and brokenness and telling your kid to do something or to act a certain way for extra finances.
Right.
Like, it's sad, but it's more common.
Yeah.
It's more
do,
common.
do you think because and that just coincides with I really hate to see because I talked to that family member of mine and I said I get if you're going through mental things, right? Like, believe me, I believe in ADD, ADHD, but that's not what they said. They just said, I'm disabled. And when I was looking at it, I was like, when grandma was done making that arroz con gandules and pernil, I bet she ran to the kitchen table. You know what I mean? When and so and I've seen it, and I never spoke about it, right? Because I've seen it a lot, like, in the community, too, where, like, a lot of parents, like, I know their kids have behavioral issues, and rather than correcting it, they're quick to just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to say that, this, that, and the third, so I can get a check every month and not have to go to work, which I'm highly against. But, and I feel like it creates a lack of motivation for our youth because they're the future. Do you know what I mean? And they're who we need to depend on to create content, to run businesses, to whatever, agriculture, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And I want to give a shout out to my job again, Kendrick Elementary, because honestly, before I worked in the school system, I mean, just like as a person who kind of like hears about these things, right? I was like, oh, like I was one that was like, I do not like ADHD medicine or ADD medicine. Like I was like, no, like they're so young. I started working with them kids. Oh my goodness. Like I have seen children thrive after getting on medication. And it's not it doesn't have to be for life. It's just their bodies are so small and they're growing that they don't have the mental capacity yet to keep it under wraps. And so they're in this a few years. It's not forever that they are on medication. And I've seen kids like really zone in and thrive. So I believe, and then not even that, but like there's resources that WISD, like I feel like I'm over here being a spokesman for WISD.
You're doing good.
Like
you're doing good.
I love my city. I love our education.
It's like I told you though, so that like I have close friends whose children do have like ADD and ADHD. I don't want to like misdiagnose them because I forget which one it is, and I know I have some friends that their child is ADHD, and he's one of the brightest kids that I know.
Yeah.
The brightest kid, and they know it too. You know what I mean? And he's so smart and so intellectual and so athletically inclined, and from what I see, you know what I mean? And fantastic kid, and so, but I think when it was so funny. My friend Hazel Trevino, who attends Oasis Church, which I went to in Round Rock, phenomenal church. You guys should go sometime.
Awesome.
Non-denominational. He told us that our meeting on the public affair was a divine intervention, and I kind of feel like ours is too, because this just happened a couple weekends ago, and I just was so angry at the situation. Like, how could we be letting this happen? Now, the person in my family doesn't feel like they can do anything because you told them, you know what I mean? And so we have to fix that. Yeah. What do we do to fix that, Stella?
I think... Let me dig in because I have my youth leader bag, I have my education bag, and then I got my Jesus bag. So out of all my bags, I'm like, which one do I want to pull out of? I think this is where we have to do better as far as parents in our community. Okay. I was just talking to a brother today because we had an outreach at Hood Park in East Waco, and I was talking to him and he said, like right now, shout out to Ahmad Washington. I'm gonna put your name out there, my boy.
What's up, Ahmad?
Yeah.
I'm only didn't put the family member's name out of respect for my parents, but they know what's tea because I would have did it. Yeah. I would have did it, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, shout out to you for being respectful. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't know about respectful. I'm just trying to keep it cute.
Yeah. Keep it cute. Keep it cute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it cute.
I think we have to educate our parents in our community about those types of things. Okay. And so again, that's where we see educators and community members and PTAs, that's the parents, in the schools, come together and really educate our parents. Yeah. Educate our parents on these types of things. Yeah. Because again, like for example, I'm giving another shout out to you. I'm sorry.
Pastor Juan, what's up?
My parents are kind of the best.
We
so
should
I
let
don't know
Pastor
what to
Juan
say.
sit right there.
I know, right?
We
For
should.
real.
You want to get on camera?
Come on,
Yeah.
like,
Are you sure? Okay, we're gonna get you on your own interview though.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
yeah,
we got
okay.
you. So they were the PTA presidents for university. We used to have a university middle school
Okay.
where HEB in South Waco is right now.
Oh, okay.
And so there's like testimonies where even when I started working at Kendrick, I have friends who are like, your parents taught my parents how to like do their taxes. I was like, what? She was like,
Wow.
yeah, my parents didn't speak any English. My dad is fluent in both, in Spanish and
Sure.
English. And she was like, they didn't know how to do anything. We're big age. I'm 24.
Okay.
At that time, I was probably like 24.
Yeah.
And she still remembers that, you
Wow.
know? So I feel like that's why
Fantastic.
I say it's really community and parents and
Right.
and everyone getting involved to kind of educate us on these things, because that's not right. I don't know if
Absolutely.
I didn't say that. That is not right. That puts a burden on the child to act a certain way,
Right.
and maybe even question, like, am I really this way?
Right.
So
It
I just want to say
create-
that flat out.
It creates. She's being modest, right? But what it does is it,
Camera one.
It creates just like future doubt for. I
Yeah.
really feel for this individual in my family, and I hope that they know that they're a very young age, and I hope that they know that they have so much to their life.
Yeah.
I understand they've been through some traumatic stuff, and we're here. And I remember telling them, you're with family. You're safe with us. Now, don't get me wrong, my family's a little bit dysfunctional, right? But Andrew G's got it together, you know, for the most part. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you should be able to come to me and things like that. I wonder, and this is probably such an open-ended question, it can be a little bit nuanced, right? But do you think it's the lack of Christ? Do you think that it's the lack of people attending church? Do you think it's the lack of people belief in God?
And that's
you
what
know?
I was going to say. Yes, because that's what I was going to say earlier about community. I really don't understand how people could do life alone. You know, like I mean, I understand, I guess, if you don't like accountability. But like,
Hello.
you know what I'm saying? But like,
Hello.
at his house, we say all the time, like, if you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong.
I agree.
You
I do
know,
agree with that.
and like, just in this life, if you don't have people in your life who are helping you, like you said, you could have came to me.
Right.
We could have talked about this. If you don't have people in your corner
Yeah.
to, like, maybe times are hard and she did just do that for a check. Well, we know other ways, baby, how you can take care of
That's
that.
a different episode because the circumstances are a little bit different.
Yeah.
That's a different episode.
Well,
where I'll
I'm
get beat up
saying
at the- yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
what they did is very common, and that's
Absolutely.
what I've seen is like it's more financial burden.
Right.
So, love, there's other things we can do
Yes.
that we can help in that area that you don't have to do that. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I
So
agree.
I just think like community, yes, and honestly, like the love of the Father.
Right.
The love of the Father.
Absolutely, I agree. You know, I hate that we're running to the end of the interview because this is like so fantastic, right?
I know, I love it.
Do you feel like there is a pressure for you, Stella? You're 26 years
Mm-hmm.
old. Let me tell you something. When I was 26, I mean, I didn't have God in my life like you did, right, girl? You could have caught me at Junction 84. Okay, and I was doing other things. But you know, do you feel being the pastor's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being the person that you are? I think we very much acknowledged in the beginning of this interview that none of us are perfect and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Do you find a pressure to maintain an image to the community and to everybody around you as like this perfect, you know, church? Not that I think that you are. I think
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm talking about. But like, do you find a pressure to not? Do you feel like you're truly living your authentic self, or do you find a pressure to kind of like hold back a little bit?
I love this question because I do feel pressure.
Yeah.
I feel pressure in a positive way, though.
Oh, okay.
Because if I didn't feel pressure, I think I would just live and do and say whatever I want without not only what the consequences would do to me, but the people I love and the people around me. I am where I am today because people in my life saw value in me and they spoke it into me, and they also helped me. They showed me how I can be my best self in Christ. And so I want to show even my kids at Kendrick Elementary, I want to show my kids, even my students, that if anything that there is in life that you want to do, you can do.
Right.
If you have support, if you have God on your side, that you can do those things. And so pressure, yes, because I want to be the best example for children, for anybody in Waco, Texas.
Right.
You know, and so I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that there's times where I deal with things, you know, but again, I have an amazing support system to fall back on.
Sure.
Who aren't going to shame me, but say, okay, just like the gym. All right, like, so you're weak in this area. Let's do these things to kind of help make that weakness a strength.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, why are you dealing with that? Da-da-da-da. No, it's not a shaming moment. It's a, okay, this is where you're weak. What can we do? Let's look in his word. What can we do? What can we change? Because it's not all about just praying and, oh, yeah, I hope everything's working out. No, like the word says that faith without works is dead. So we have to do something, you know?
Sure.
And so what can we do in this area to change it? So next time this comes up or next time this happens, you don't fall and stumble. So that's what it's about. That's why I say I do feel pressure. But it's mainly like I want to be the person that I saw growing up. And I had amazing youth leaders.
Yeah.
Andrew, like I had amazing youth leaders who were able to have real conversations with me, who were able to be vulnerable. That's why I love serving in the youth ministry at our church, because I want to be that place. I want to be that safe place that I had. My parents were great. They were awesome. We could talk about anything. Some of the stuff me and my dad be talking about, people be like, what? I'm like, look, that's me and my pops right there. That's us. We 100 with
Look
it.
at him. He's like, don't say it on camera. Don't say it on
I
camera.
know, right? I know. He's like, they gotta know. They
Yeah,
gotta know.
okay.
That's my little twin. But no, like I know the support system I had, and so there is pressure, positive pressure to be that for others.
I love that.
But it's not crushing me. I think
you.
it's motivating me and inspiring me, and I want to give a shout out to my church, because they have never once made me feel like you should be perfect or you shouldn't be struggling with this, you shouldn't be struggling with that. Like, they have never held me to a standard that was like, you're up here, you cannot fall, you cannot do anything bad. They have never, my church has never held me to something higher that I couldn't reach, you know? So.
I love that so much. I just, unfortunately we're at the end of the interview and I hate it so much, right? But before we go, I want to thank you as essentially a minister in your church at his house. When I think of, I did a podcast interview. I'm going to keep this really brief. I did a podcast interview where I was actually being interviewed by a good friend of mine, Silas and Cela. And we called the interview, a former homophobe interviews a gay man, right? I have to send it to you guys. It's great. And we got into a lot of conversation about God and stuff like that. When I think of people like my good friend Silas and you now, and then I have another interview that I did with my friend Hazel Hacia Trevino. And I mentioned him earlier, he goes to Oasis Church. When I think of you guys, I love that I live in not only a community, but in a lifetime and in a world where I am 100% authentically myself, and I feel so welcomed by you guys. Yeah. It's really a beautiful feeling, and I know that sounds really cheesy, and my viewers are going to be, shut up. But no, I love that I can, at the very least, hope to create, like, or corrode these barriers that people feel like we have between us. You know what I mean? And so I want to thank you so much, and to his house for trusting the public affair to come on and tell a little bit of your story. How can we attend? When can we attend church? Where is it at? And what do we have coming up for Cela?
So his house is located at 2015 Kendrick Lane. We have two services now, new on Sunday mornings. You can catch us at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. I'm over here like, what? Okay. And then on Wednesday nights, we have the Lou. It's called Level Up Wednesday. And so that's when we really just try to better ourselves and dive deep into his word. That'll be Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. And then the last Wednesday night of every single month, we have our youth night. Yeah. So you can come and holla at me, bring the kids, the teenagers, middle school and high school, and we'll learn about the word, learn about God, and how we can better ourselves.
I love it. I love it so much. Music on the way?
Music on the way. Okay. This year, 2025, is going to be a big year for Stella Karion in the music scene. Oh, okay. I'm super excited. Got some big shows coming up. I actually just got, they just announced that I got picked to be in a big festival in Tampa, Florida in November
Oh, girl,
on the main
congrats.
stage. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. So
Yes.
a lot of good things on the way. So you can catch me at Cela Karion on YouTube. That's CelaCarreon. Young, fly, single, 26-year-old,
Yes.
putting on for the Lord.
I'm
So-
gonna go with you guys to Tampa, but just leave me there. Yeah, it doesn't have to be in the name of his
Look,
house.
Dad
right?
said, let's go.
Yeah, I'll fly out with you guys, and then don't worry about where I'm at. Okay? Yeah. Listen, best of luck to you. I really hope that you succeed in, reaching out to the youth of our community.
Yes.
I've only gotten involved because I was doing career days and stuff like that. I've been getting booked for a lot of those, and then I have a lot of kids come up to me, and they actually watch the show, so if my viewers have noticed, I've taken quite a step back. This interview would have been different 2 years ago. Okay, I've taken quite a. He knows what I'm talking about. He's like, "Are you sure you're going No, and so I just have come to really realize that our youth is so important, and they have got to have just healthy avenues to know that they can succeed. And one thing that I've just come to learn in my career is that I can't stand when a child is, number one, being abused, number two, feeling like they're less than.
Yeah.
In a world where they're supposed to have limitless opportunity. So I am going to hope and pray that you guys can, definitely do what your mission is, which sounds like to me is to provide those avenues.
Yes.
And of course, spread the word. Wake up.
Yes.
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 Well, Stella, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning into this episode of The Public Affair. We might have a future episode with Coach. Coach. I keep saying Coach.
Hey,
I
might
keep
as
saying
well,
Coach.
honestly.
I know.
Might as well.
With Pastor Juan from his house, okay? He might come on. He came on to test the waters, all right? Make sure you guys follow Stella Karion on all social media platforms. And of course, before we go, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Jeffrey Monterey, Pollo Box and Audio, home for all your LED needs and audio accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. So if you guys need some sound systems in the church, hit up my bro, Jeffrey Monterey, Pollo Box and Audio, number on the screen. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and much more. They said that I can pull up to his house with my bass. Hello?
Bet.
Yes, because I have my bass. Yes, they did. I'm not talking about that kind of bass. I'm talking about the other kind of bass, the bang. Okay? Because Jeffrey put it on there. Yeah, I'll put the Christian music. I'll listen to Stella Karion with my bass. Hello. Your one-stop shop to get everything done with run-roofed Pollo Box and Audio. Thank you so much, of course, to HB Party Backdrops and Decor. My girl, Ana Limones, call for all party decor, including beautiful balloon props, giving an extra flair to your party or event with a number of wooden backdrops as well. So if you guys are going to have any upcoming events, parties, and you need a decorator, hit up my girl, HB Party Backdrops and Decor, Ana Limones, with the contact information on the screen. Se habla español. Thank you so much for all you do for me in the show, girl. And of course, I can't go on without thanking my boy Julio Arriaga with JC Painting and Drywall LLC. Contact for all drywall and beautiful new paint for your property, both commercial and residential. His work is honest, it's true, and can guarantee 100% satisfaction. Truly living by his slogan, just imagine. And we can make it happen. If you guys need any contracting, drywall, remodeling, whatever, my boy Julio's got you. Muchas gracias por todo, and mucho gracias. To all of you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We're taking a week off because I'm training for my CrossFit comp. Okay, so yes, okay, but you guys will have another episode of The Public Affair next week. No, not next week after next. Wish me luck in my CrossFit comp, his house. Make sure you guys go attend church there. And don't forget, no matter what, to always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.